Now, let's talk about our overcrowded prisons. I've got to ask today, have the lunatics taken over the asylum? Because sometimes the news in this country is so insane, this can only be the only rational explanation. After years of failing to tackle crime on our streets, with fewer police and a sharp fall in suspects arrested and charged, and those that were convicted and sent to prison being let out again halfway through their sentence, the Tory government vowed to get tough on crime. Great, we all said. So they hired more police officers again and told judges to hand out longer jail terms and ended early release for the worst offenders. And the judges did as they were told. The past decade has seen a 55% rise in the length of sentences handed down to criminals. And today we learned that, as a result, our prisons are now full. With nowhere to put them, convicted rapists and burglars will be free to walk the streets from next Monday because Crown Court judges have now been ordered to delay sentencing hearings for criminals who are out on bail. And some criminals already behind bars will be released early to free up more spaces. So let's get this clear. Because more criminals have been sent to prison, we will now see fewer criminals sent to prison. You really couldn't make it up. This is Alice in Wonderland stuff. But don't worry, we're told this is a short-term measure and that suspects accused of the most serious crimes and remanded in custody will be held in magistrates' court cells and not free on our streets. Oh, OK then. But what's going to change in the next few weeks, or months, or indeed years? The prison population in England and Wales is currently 88,016. The maximum capacity of our prisons is just another 654 inmates. That's it. That's all there is. And with a backlog in the Crown Courts of nearly 65,000 cases right now, partly due to lockdowns, but also going on for many years before that, the problem is going to get a lot worse before it ever, if at all, gets better. And this is what flummoxes me. Did no one in the Ministry of Justice or the Treasury or Number 10 predict that if you send more criminals to prison and for longer, and you end early release for some prisoners, then maybe, just maybe, you might need more prison places? This isn't rocket science, after all. It's barely even worthy of a GCSE maths question. This is basic stuff. The government claims to be carrying out the biggest prison-building campaign since the Victorian era to build 20,000 new prison places. Well, that's what they say. But despite their own predictions that we will need some 10,000 extra prison places by 2027, just 4 short years away, there is only one new prison currently being built. And no, it doesn't have room for 10,000 cells. If we want more criminals to be put behind bars, and yes, the majority of us do, then we need to have more prison cells to put them in. It's really that simple. And that costs money. And it costs even more to have prisons that actually educate and rehabilitate prisoners so they come out and don't reoffend. And I, for one, am happy to pay more taxes to fund those new prisons. I think many of you would be as well. But none of us wants bad people to remain free on our streets. And yet the madness of our criminal justice system is going to do just that. This abject failure of government ministers to think through the most obvious and logical consequences of their criminal justice policies betrays a bewildering level of incompetence. Some might call it crazy. I think it's borderline criminal.